Hello, are you there?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You connected?
Double O.
Yes, sir.
Oh snap, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the
Welcome
STAKK Crypto
back.
channel. I
Yes,
guess we should say
sir.
hello to the viewers. Hello, viewers.
Hello.
Are you
viewers.
there?
Thank you for watching.
We're coming to you with what was that beep? What was that sound? Because I feel like some people will not even know what that is.
We just got connected to the internet, yo. AOL, baby.
Internet.
America Online.
AOL was it's one of those breakthrough things that happen in our lifetime, right?
Yes,
Now, of course, back in the day, I don't know. You used AOL, didn't you?
Oh man, I used AOL. I used all sorts of things. That was MSN. That was this black and yellow one. I can't remember the name. That was a ton of.
Black and yellow.
I can't remember the name, but that was their logo. I can remember that was their brand. It was black and yellowish. That was an orange one, Voyager or something like that.
Voyager. Voyager.
Voyager. You know, it's all sorts of stuff, man.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking of Boost Mobile, but I don't think Boost Mobile.
Nah, Boost Mobile wasn't allowed back then,
that was
man.
something else. You know, that's when. It's interesting because I remember what AOL is, and I feel like I came to the United States like at the tail end of that situation when innovation was just taking that next spring forward. You know, because during the starting phases of AOL, I was still back in Cameroon, right?
Yes, sir.
Hanging out in Africa. You know what we used to do? We were still hitting them rotaries, dog. Okay, we're hitting them rotaries. Swing. Okay.
Trying to make that international call. You get it wrong, you start all over again.
We're just trying not to strangle ourselves with the phone cord back in those days. Good times. But it's interesting because we find ourselves today in a very similar situation to those medieval times, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about some comparisons between the internet, right, phones, and Bitcoin, right? And there's a lot more. Email, right?
Yeah. Blockchains.
And we see that there is a similar pattern.
Yeah, we do.
Right? If anything we're kind of searching about these days is that history seems to repeat itself, and a lot of times you can look back into history and have a good idea of what is coming up next. Not everything, but a lot of things for sure. Yeah. And of course there were some similarities between now and what was happening back in those days.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
What would you say some of those are for you that you're seeing?
Oh man, let's get this started.
Yes, sir.
Oh snap! When the internet was out back then, luckily I think I was in the States. But man, even my father, hey dad, sorry I had to put you out there. Still was not ready to come on the internet, man. It's like he refused the computer for the longest. I'm like, Dad, you need to get on this thing. Like, this is the future. Why do I need another thing to learn? My work is already stressful enough. Now I gotta go get on the computer. But the funny thing is that the old guy, sorry to call you old tabs, he got us a computer at home. Actually had the computer in Nigeria before I came to the States. And we were already on the computer. Like I was already learning how to use the computer on MS-DOS before Windows 95 came about. But yeah, the FUD about the internet back then was the shiznak.
Yeah. So it seems that this has been like a repeating trend over and over again. Back in those days, I was in boarding school back home, and my favorite program to use back in those days was Microsoft Word. I don't know if it was like Microsoft, but no, it was Microsoft because this is back when they had the paperclip guy that showed up at the bottom right of the screen. Yeah, it was my favorite application to use. Then I came to America, and then
that was WordPad.
Was it WordPad?
WordPad. It was the early days of Microsoft Word.
Yeah, I think it was like super early days.
Yeah.
If you needed help, like you would ask there was like a paperclip with eyeballs at the bottom right of the screen.
You remember that guy?
Come on now. You know what I mean? We've had our battle stripes.
Yes, sir.
OGs now. So, but one thing is for sure, there were people that did not believe in it, right? There was non-stop articles about this is just a passing fad. This is not going to stay. But we can see that a lot of times, right, that happened because people were just not educated on what it was.
Mm.
And as people educated themselves, what do we see?
Adoption.
Mass
Maybe.
adoption.
Yes, sir.
Mass adoption. We're looking at this chart here. Actually, this chart, when you sent me this chart, I had to go back and do like a double take because I did not realize that Asia was that high with the internet usage.
We want to think that America is ahead. You want to find innovation, go to Asia. You want to find adoption of the internet, go to Asia.
I'll drop a recommendation here. If anyone is interested, you can go watch this documentary about Shenzhen. Is it Shenzhen?
Yes, sir.
Cities of the Future, Shenzhen. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible what is happening over there. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, the internet still kind of prevailed, right? And it's now everywhere. We can't do anything without the internet anymore.
Yes, sir.
And which kind of makes you wonder, what were some of those key factors that helped the internet to get to where it is right now? And how can some of those things apply to Bitcoin itself?
Yeah, or is it even really applying to Bitcoin already? Or is Bitcoin even designed in such a way that it automatically applies to it?
Well, I think it's definitely going to apply to Bitcoin. It's already applying itself to Bitcoin, as we'll see, right? Yeah. And I think it applies for breakthrough technologies that really provide that massive value to everyone's life. And it's just a matter of things like Metcalfe's law, right? Mental models like the network effect and critical mass. So we're just gonna do a light touch on what each of these are. So we have Metcalfe's law. I can almost never say that name, which is essentially the value of a communications. It says the value of a communications network is proportional to the square of the number of its users.
Yep.
Now, some people kind of have their debates about this, but when you say the value of the network, to me, I think that the value of a network is created by the people, right?
Yeah.
If more people are using something, then it becomes of value to them, right? Gold, cash.
Yep. The internet.
Bitcoin, the internet, right? Yep. And so, I would say that is one of those things. And of course, there's like a chart that shows the growth of adoption in various things. And you see that it's going to apply to Bitcoin as well. Yep. Then you have mental models. And essentially, mental models are just, I guess, decision-making models, if you will. There's this kind of pushed forward, really, by Herbert Simmons, right? He was a political scientist and things like that. So, and he kind of really, some of the things that he really kind of clarified the idea on was things like network effect and critical mass. So network effect is just essentially, simply put, the idea that the more people use something, right, the more connections you have, and that keeps growing that base.
Yep.
Right. And then, of course, critical mass is just getting to a point where you now have so much adoption that it just continuously compounds and keeps pushing forward in our case. And we see that with things like Facebook, Instagram, right? These same mental models apply to a lot of massive technologies that we use today.
It even applies to the markets as well. Absolutely. When everybody says something is going up, they start jumping in it.
Right.
The whole psychology of trading or investing as well.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because we're now sitting in this place where a lot of what we're seeing surrounding Bitcoin is really identical to what we saw with the internet and everything else that we just mentioned. Right. So, I don't know. I know you have a bunch of articles here, Kerry. Run us through the situation.
So just like the internet, right? Just like the internet, we have a ton of articles. Back in the .com days, in the internet days, it was a bunch of newspapers. Right. Luckily for us, with the internet, we have historical data that shows all these greats. What you call them?
Economist, if you will.
Yeah.
Some of the brightest minds.
Yes, sir.
And, I don't know, what would you call them? The most astute.
Yes.
the most how would you say? Wow, dude, what is the word is getting away from me? The most astute institutional figures, if you will.
Look at my man trying to give us huge vocabulary. Just
Hey,
call them
listen,
great
man.
minds.
Listen, I want to use all of my words. I've been reading a lot, and it's just a bunch of massive words stuck in my mind right now, and I want
Yes,
to use all
sir.
of them as much as possible. It's a beautiful
Yep.
thing, right?
So talking of those astute minds,
Right.
we can just run through this website real quick. Crypto 2020. This is from Crypto News.
Yeah.
As you can see there, Nobel, this including Nobel Prize winners. Of course, we have here
Yeah.
your favorite. One of your favorites, Paul Krugman.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have Eugene Farm. We have Robert Schiller, Joseph Stiglitz, and I think Peter Schiff is somewhere in there. But
It's
it's one
Peter
of those
Shivin.
big guys.
I'm surprised he's
It's
not number one on the list.
on this list, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, and then to add on to that, we have
Right.
this website that literally tracks the amount of times people have documented the obituary of Bitcoin, which also happened with the .com. And I'm sure you probably remember there was a lot of news articles talking about email was trash. Who's going
Right.
to use email? We don't need email. I don't want to use email. And a lot of businesses went by the wayside because they just never adopted email. Kind of like
Absolutely.
what's going on right now. If you don't adopt social media and you don't adopt the internet, then your business is going dead. So we're not going to go through this entire obituary, but let's just simply say that since the .com days, we've had a lot of obituary. Actually, since the beginning of Bitcoin, we've
Right.
had a lot of documentation on the obituaries of Bitcoin.
Of people saying Bitcoin is going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So again, similar to the .com days, similar to the internet days, we had similar situations going on. Which
Mm.
now that leads us uh, to the next topic, right?
Right. Right. Well, what is this then? The adoption curve of the internet versus
Yeah,
Bitcoin, right?
yeah, Bitcoin price. So the fact is this: we see similarities between what's going on between the adoption of the internet and
Right.
Bitcoin, right?
Mm.
Can Bitcoin operate without the internet? Yes. But does the Bitcoin need the internet to fully accomplish its work? Yes. So
Yes.
there's that mixed conversation going on about the need for people to run their own personal node to
Mm.
ensure to ensure the survivability of Bitcoin.
Of Bitcoin, yeah. I mean, and there's already a lot of people running nodes these days. I mean, we're actually
Yeah,
planning to run ours as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
I'm going to show you the charts of that too later on in this presentation.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's very interesting because we're seeing that Bitcoin is taking a similar curve, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, the network effect is, you could definitely say the network effect
You
is
can see it right
definitely
here.
there
Yeah.
because the more people are using it, the more it keeps growing. So, but I think with Bitcoin, the time frame, it seems like the adoption is, or the growth of it is much more aggressive, right? Compared
Yes.
to that of the internet, which took about
Yes.
7.5 years,
Yes.
right, to hit a specific amount of users, which is about 1 billion,
Yeah.
versus Bitcoin itself,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And that's taken only about 4 years to kind of ramp up crazily
Yeah.
like it has right now.
Yeah.
So I would say, based on just what we're looking at right now, it's possibly another internet situation, another AOL situation, right?
Yeah, I would say I remember sitting in the library back in the day,
Yeah.
in my doing my computer science assignment, and thinking, man, I should build a website to sell donuts
To be
because
to
at the
sell
time,
donuts,
yes, I had that was my class project.
because
There was no
okay.
Dunkin' Donut online at the time,
Oh,
so I
see.
built this PHP website to sell donuts. But
Right.
then now I'm thinking, sitting down here, and we have cryptocurrencies going on, and I keep reminding myself I'm not going to make the same mistake of sitting down on an idea and not
Yeah.
implementing it, because
Hey,
a
I
lot of
agree
people
with
have a
you
lot
there.
of chances to do that now.
I
So
agree
the
with
question
you.
you got to ask yourself now is, what are you doing about it? Here
Right.
is the charts for the internet adoption, the time frame it took for the internet, and see how fast Bitcoin is growing.
Mm. Well,
Just the timeline.
I'm gonna add this, man. I was reading. There was a paper I was reading, and the gentleman, I forgot his name, but pretty much the idea that he was going on about was that in our lifetime, right, we get to have two massive opportunities to make a huge change
Mm.
for not just for ourselves but for our family,
Yeah,
like
society.
generational
Yeah. Yeah.
wealth change, right? So, and he pointed this out, and he said, there is a time, especially like he was using the example of the market. He's like, there'll be every this was also using cycles, which is something that we talk about here. And he was
Wow.
like, every so often there's going to be a massive crash at some
Yeah.
point. There is one that is going to happen in your lifetime where you're not in a place where you're able to take advantage of it, whether
Mm-hmm.
you're too young, you don't have the money at that time, or
Mm.
whatever the case might be, and you will miss that one.
Yeah.
But then there will be a second opportunity that will come in, and it's years apart, right?
Mm.
And that will be the opportunity for you to take advantage of it. So the people are either going to find themselves like in that first phase or the second one, right?
Mm.
And I think that this kind of reminds me exactly of that. This is one of those opportunities where it's like there was the internet, but when the internet happened, like in my case, like I was still in Africa, right? And I never really got to mess with it as much as possible. But when I came to the US, I was like, oh, this is great. And I've been able to use it to the max.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that this is one of those situations with Bitcoin where we find ourselves in a new opportunity. And I think that this is not just I guess best opportunity of our generation. I feel like this is an opportunity of beyond a lifetime. I feel like this is for humanity, an opportunity for humanity.
You just clicked the freaking bell in my mind.
Right.
The internet created email, created
Right.
Wi-Fi, created intranets, created, just name it, a bunch of technology. Facebook,
Right.
Twitter,
Yeah.
created these trillion-dollar markets with
Right.
Apple and Microsoft and cloud solutions. And then you have another something similar just starting right now with Bitcoin, which now you have Ethereum copying it, you have
Right.
Phantom, you have Cardano. This is just the beginning. The
Absolutely.
innovation is just starting.
I don't think, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people wonder to themselves, "Am I late to the party?"
Oh, that goes to the next question. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hmm?
Next.
Are you
Where
late
are
to the
we
party?
on the S curve?
That is a good question. Where? Because I feel like we're just getting started, man. I feel
12
like we're
years
kind
in.
of like, I feel like we are 12 years. Where's 12 years? I feel like we're kind of close to the early adopters.
I think
Close
we're
to
early majorities.
early majority. I don't know. That would be like 34% adoption. And remember, we're talking about the world
The
in
world, okay,
general.
not America.
Yeah, this is not just America. I mean, it's like it's. I mean, it's cute to think that Bitcoin is all about America. We don't get me
Oh,
wrong. Bitcoin
America's
is
not even on
American.
top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is American as heck, but mm, I think and that's the thing. A lot of times people talk about it, they're thinking about this. The scale is small. It's like
Yeah,
America,
yeah.
but you have to think about it on a world scale, right? And I don't think up to 34% of the wall is in Bitcoin yet.
Dude, and it's currently at $43,000.
Yeah, yeah. It's insane to think about it, man, because it's just I've never seen anything else like this. There is nothing like it. Nothing has performed like it up to this point. Nothing matches it. No one can beat it. It's just
Then talk about the technologies that are being developed off of the
exactly,
technology.
exactly,
This is
100%. So
just
it's I believe that we're somewhere there in the early adopter phase, crossing over to the majority adopters. So
yes.
it's still pretty
Push that.
early,
So let's talk about America real quick.
right?
America. Where are we on this chart? So this is a little quick snapshot. I'm going to take us to the website real quick that actually contains this information.
Right.
Let's go there. So there's this website called buybitcoinworldwide.com. It has a lot of information. We're going to add that to the content for this website. And yes, let's quickly go. We're not going to show you all the data, but how many people out there own Bitcoin? 106 million. That's just not even a huge percentage of the world population, by the way.
Yeah.
53 million people are trading Bitcoin. The American that have heard about Bitcoin is 89%. So not all Americans have heard about Bitcoin. Americans that
They've
own
heard about it.
Bitcoin,
So they've heard about it, but they don't own it.
Yes, only 22% of them. Of course, all the fraud out there, man. It's just the same
Yeah,
fraud that they gave them with the internet.
yeah,
With Microsoft, with Apple, with Tesla. There's still a lot of fraud being printed about Tesla as we speak right now. You know,
of
about
course.
Google. Well, Google does have its weaknesses, and Apple, of course. But
Mm.
if you, these are the biggest exchanges in the world: Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken. Look at the billions of dollars in volume of Bitcoin that is being traded, right? You want to talk about the mass effect? That's it right there. Now talk about America, right?
Mm.
Who's buying Bitcoin? Oh, it's a bunch of young guys. They're going to lose all their money. They're going to lose their head. Are you really sure? Or is it the fact that you're just way too old to understand the technology, or you're not taking the time to educate yourself about the technology? If
Mm.
you grew up on the internet, you should understand some of the basis of how Bitcoin works and
Right.
why it works and why it's actually better. And then you want to talk about the countries that actually use that mass accept Bitcoin. America is number 5, number 6 on the list.
This is
Turkey.
something that is interesting about that chart. Which, first of all,
Mm,
before I even get to that, the bar graph which you had up top there for the
yeah,
age range of people that are buying Bitcoin.
yeah.
I mean, when I look at that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, it's the correct demographic of people buying it. you know, it's the,
The data is
it's the
accurate
correct.
this time around, right? This is not
Right,
media.
it's right. This is the correct demographic of people buying it. It's the generation who has been left with nothing, right?
Yeah. Oh wow.
Um, the generation that is pretty much unable to just live a normal life like their parents did, and this is the solution. Which that graph totally makes sense, right? But then moving down to the one with the adoption rates, it is quite interesting that Turkey, right, especially like last year, the president of Turkey came out and he
Hmm.
was like, "Hey, we are launching an all-out war on Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies. We will never accept it."
Hmm.
Turkey is number one on that list.
It seems like the more the countries fight against this, the more people gravitate
The more
towards it.
people, absolutely, absolutely, people want to do the things that they tell them they cannot do. And secondly, Turkey's currency is absolutely going down the toilet for sure.
Mm,
Right, the thing almost crashed because he will not print money, right?
hmm
So what are the people going to do? People are just going to move their money into Bitcoin. A lot of people are moving their money into dollars. Some are moving into Bitcoin.
hmm
So
hmm
yeah,
And this is one of our favorite sites, by the way, Glassnode. If you ever want to
Glassnode. Oh
research,
yeah, awesome
if you
site.
ever want to research Bitcoin, it's a great place to go to. This basically reflects the price the volume in
Mhm.
terms of addresses of Bitcoin. So you can see the adoption is growing at a very fast rate, right? And this is
That
just
is,
January of 2020.
yeah, that's definitely ripping up.
Yep. And here again is the countries that have, in terms of Bitcoin owners,
Yeah,
as
why
you can
is
see,
North America is looking pretty big?
yeah, yeah, we got the money.
This is true.
We got those stimmies. It's the only
Yeah,
problem is that we spent our stimmies. We spent our stimmies
bro,
on the call options that
that
all got
man,
destroyed.
that was rough.
But
Yeah, that was rough.
we should have spent our stimmies on crypto.
I should make a picture of my portfolio at that period in time and post it up so that I never make that mistake again. It was
That
ridiculous.
was there was some beautiful games, man. There was some
There
beautiful
were some.
games.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, there were some beautiful gains, right? We definitely made some strong gains, but
Oh, Neo, baby.
the losses were just outrageous. So that was my
Yeah,
whole
they
problem with
were.
that thing. Like the GameStop situation, bro. That morning, that whole day actually. I felt like death, man. It
I
sucked.
felt rich, but then Robin Hood happened.
Yeah, got robbed.
Yeah,
Carry on.
yeah. Which then goes back to the old broken system, right? But
Right.
yeah, let's just keep on going.
So
We're
what
just
is
showing
the
this on a
number of new addresses? Looks like
yes,
that is
sir.
steadily moving upward.
Steaming, baby, steaming. Some fire.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah, dude. I can see a day. Some people kind of project this to be like 10 years ahead or something like that. But I think
Mm-hmm.
in like 5 years, I think a lot of people will just be using Bitcoin like a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's possible. This is number of active addresses. By the way, Tesla announced today that in Asia you can use Dogecoin to buy Teslas and stuff. So interesting thing.
They
You might
also
not be able to
said,
buy a Tesla car, but you might be able to buy a Tesla phone.
here's an interesting thing. They also said in that same publication,
Yeah.
you cannot. Hang on, I have it on my phone here somewhere. All right, so you can purchase items with Dogecoin,
Yeah.
but those items cannot be returned, exchanged, or cancelled.
Ah,
Why?
interesting. I don't know.
Why would they not want you to return it? That's wild.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know.
But hey, it's entertaining stuff though. Carry on.
Hmm. All right. So we just showed you guys this chart earlier. This is another chart of how the world has been adopting Bitcoin.
Right.
That's not working right now. So let's just move on to the next slide.
I think there was a. Let's see. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's not moving. But
Yeah. Yeah.
essentially what the chart shows is just how over time you could see that the adoption of Bitcoin has just been continuously spreading
Yeah.
across the world, right? And this
Across
is
the world,
from Coinbase.
Yeah.
So, if anyone has reliable data on Bitcoin adoption, I'm pretty sure they will,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, I mean, what is the bottom line here, and what does this mean for Bitcoin?
I honestly feel like if the internet can survive,
Right,
and the federal governments are all using the internet now, you know, of
right,
course,
right.
Bitcoin is going to survive, and the governments of
Absolutely.
the world will eventually adopt Bitcoin. Because it's just a trend analysis, right?
Right.
You want to analyze the trend? It looks just too similar. Now we might be wrong, but what are the chances that we're super wrong or we're partially right?
Well, personally, I don't think we're wrong. I think
Of course, you're bullish. Only
no.
you
I
will
mean
say that.
because okay, this is why I don't think I'm wrong. Because well, first of all, it is not my job to tell myself no,
Yeah,
right? Because this is something that is good for everyone. This is something that
yeah,
is good for the whole world. From a moral standpoint, from an independent standpoint, from a recovering the economy from where it is right now standpoint, I mean, name it, right? Bitcoin does all of it. And so when we look at data from other technologies that have been mass adopted,
hmm,
right? I can say, yeah, this is probably going to go in that direction. You can
let's
see the use
go.
cases, you can see the
Yep.
problems it's solving every
Hmm.
day. And so if someone is telling me that it's not going to work, that is fine. They just need to show me how it's going to fail. Because I've looked at, we've read, I mean, it's not like we spend all day reading bullish articles about Bitcoin because we're expecting it to go up all the time.
Yeah,
We have seen a lot of those articles. I mean, we just showed you there's a website. What was it? Over like 144, or was it
yeah,
144 times that
yeah.
people said Bitcoin was going to die? And these are people that were like say for
Super
example
educated.
the
Yeah,
right,
prompt.
so the economist which we shared earlier,
Yeah,
Nobel Prize winning economist,
yep.
most of them there predicted that Bitcoin was not going to work. Most
Hmm.
of them there said it did not make sense. You've
Hmm.
had analysts who have called Bitcoin a fascist
Hmm.
application, right,
Hmm.
and all sorts of other horrible things to tear down Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Now, where are we now? 2022,
Yes, sir.
and Bitcoin has been steadily moving upward.
Hmm.
So they were wrong
Yeah.
for sure. But we cannot
Yep.
say but maybe it's not too maybe it's not too late. It can change tomorrow, if the internet shuts down across the world, which is not going to happen. But yeah, I think we're right. That's where I stand on that one.
I would also heard the technologies that came after the internet.
Yeah.
Now let's think about Bitcoin. The technologies that are not coming because of Bitcoin. That's another reason why.
Mm. So things like Ethereum
Yeah.
and the
Solana,
likes of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Cardano,
It
Phantom.
it opened a window to take on many different things,
Hey.
right? Which some of them, yeah, I don't know, I agree with some of them, but which all of them are great. I think that the main issue I have with some of them is the fact that one of the base problems that we need to resolve is decentralization.
Boom. Kind of
Right?
like what happened with the internet and how
Exactly.
social media sites or
Yeah.
Apple now centralize everything and control everything. We don't want that
Exactly.
to repeat itself
Exactly.
with crypto, but
So
it's a
so
possibility of it repeating itself.
yeah. I mean, Solana could become a Google, could become a Facebook. We hope it doesn't. We hope that
Yeah.
the people operate in good faith. That's all we can hope
Yep.
for in a situation
Yeah.
like that. But with Bitcoin, it's
Decentralized,
certain.
baby. You
Yeah,
can't touch
it's
it.
certain. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. It is just what it is. But
Sir.
you know, it is one of those things. Very excited about it. We'll see what happens. We keep continuing to do our research, trying to make sure that we are on the right side of this thing.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I mean, it's been pretty cool. I mean, just wanted to talk about Bitcoin adoption, comparing it to the internet. Any final thoughts, sir?
Hey, as always, man. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. We enjoy you guys. We'll keep bringing it on for you guys all day, all time.
Ladies
Let's
and
go.
gentlemen, until next time,
Yes,
Brazen
sir.
out.
Double O out.